Hello and welcome to our session on Hebrew nouns, chapter 4. Hebrew nouns work almost identical to the way that English nouns do. A noun indicates a person, place, thing, or an idea. Both Hebrew and English nouns can be plural or singular, as in horse and horses. But one element that Hebrew has that the English does not have is that there can be a dual expression of Hebrew nouns. There can be eyes or two eyes, foot, feet or 2 feet, hand, hands or 2 hands. So the singular, of course, would be I, the plural would be eyes, and the dual would be 2 eyes. So there can be horse, singular, horses, plural, 2 horses, dual. And so the Hebrew allows for the dual and the English does not. Another thing that Hebrew does that English doesn't do is that the nouns have gender. And they can be either masculine or singular, and there are a few nouns that can be both masculine and singular, and context will help you to determine which one it is. So let's look and review some of the things that I just went through. With regard to gender, Hebrew nouns are either masculine or feminine, though there are a few nouns that can act as both masculine and feminine. Now, with regard to a noun's number, it can be either singular, indicating 1, or plural, indicating more than 1, or dual, indicating 2. Let's look at some examples. Now, the sheet that I have, I just love it when I find a mistake that the professionals do. But let's just look at the sus because the Torah part is misspelled. Let's just look at the sus and see what happens. Now, sus, of course, is the Hebrew word for horse. So in the singular, it's sus, samek, holomoa, samek. For horses, it's samek, holomoa, samek, comets, yod, final main, susin. But when you come to the masculine, to the dual, 2 horses, it's samek, holomoa, samek, pathak, yod, final main. And so the spelling helps you to determine whether it's singular, plural, or dual. Now, I'll go ahead and show this to you. This is Torah, but they have put a beth where a ta should be. So the markings are the same, but you can see this on page 28 in your book. So you should have Torah, and the feminine ending is comets under the resh and a hey at the end. So the comets hey ending is going to let you know that this is a feminine and not a masculine noun. Laws in the feminine is going to be Torat. And so you have the holomoa and the tau at the end, Torat. Then if it's 2 laws, you're going to have the typical beginning, the tor ending, tortam. And so you're going to have a tau, patha, yod, final main. And that's going to be the basic spelling differences between the feminine, the singular, the feminine, the masculine, singular, plural, and dual. You're going to need to memorize these endings. And there will come a time when I'll tell you that you don't need to memorize certain verbal endings, but right now is not that moment. You're going to need to memorize these endings because you're going to see this show up time and time again. Now here at the bottom, I have a summary of the noun endings, and you can find this on page 29 of your textbook. The masculine singular noun is endingless. The feminine noun can take a variety of endings, and you'll need to memorize each of these. The plural, if it's masculine, is a yod main. If it's feminine, it's a holomoa tau. If it's dual, you've got your patha, your yod, and your final main. If it's feminine dual, you can have the same ending as the masculine, or the comets, tau, yod, final main. And again, you'll need to memorize these endings and know them well for your feminine, masculine, singular, plural, and dual. Now, here's some more examples because I love repetition, especially with languages, because it helps so much. And when we do these endings, these are some examples of singular, plural, and dual. You see this, for the masculine, there's sus, melik, debar, alad, and a bomb. And you can see that if you're going to pluralize these, look at all those endings. It's a yod and a main, a yod and a final main. So whenever you see a word and there's a yod and a final main for the ending, always consider this is going to be a plural masculine noun. Now when you go into the feminine, if it's singular, it's going to have the hey ending or a tau ending. So Melekah is queen. Melek is king, but Melekah is queen. And then you have the plural. If you're going to say queens, as in a dozen queens, it's Melek, Melkabat. So you've got the bait and the tau ending there. If it's dual, you've got the yod main, yod final main ending. So these are endings that you are going to have to be concerned about and aware of, and you're just going to have to memorize it. There's no shortcut. This is just hard work. And I recommend, just like with your alphabet, just like with your vocabulary, put these on index cards. Write your word like Melek. Write it in black. Its basic triconsonantal form in black. And then in red, make the different endings and practice like that until you become familiar with those endings. When looking up a noun in the lexicon, you're going to have to search for its lexical form. The lexical form for any noun is the singular form. For example, the lexical form for susim, that's the masculine plural, is sus, the masculine, which is the masculine singular form. Likewise, the lexical form of barakat is abara, and that's the feminine singular. So you're going to have to look up, if you're going to use a lexicon, you're going to have to look up its root or its most basic form. Now, all masculine nouns are ending-less, meaning that they are in their normal, natural state, and they take no special ending. All masculine singular nouns are endingless, but not all endingless nouns are masculine singular. In a number of instances, feminine singular nouns can also be endingless. I have given for you here the 10 most common endingless feminine singular nouns that you'll find in the Hebrew Bible. The first one is eretz, which we translate land or earth, and that was, if you'll remember, from our last week's vocabulary. Then there's ad, which is hand, ear, city or town, nefesh, which is soul or life or person, then cherub, which is sword, and aban, which is stone, and regal, which is foot, and then which is mother. These are all feminine nouns, but they have no special ending. And so those are the 10 most common that you'll find in the Hebrew Bible. Now you'll find that with every rule, there are exceptions. And there are 2 more on this sheet. I only gave you 8. So let me give you the other 2 common. These are feminine nouns that are endingless. There's chach, which is hand or palm or sole of the foot. And there's azan, which is ear. And so these are that completes your list of 10 common nouns. Now, there are some special dual nouns. There are 3 Hebrew words that are always dual in form, but normally singular in translation. One is shamayim. We translate it heaven or heavens, but it occurs in a dual form, but we do not translate it to heavens. We translate it as heaven or heavens. Mitzrayim, we translate that as Egypt, not to Egypts. And then Mayim, I'm not sure why that dropped down like that. Mayim, which we translate water, and Mayim has the dual ending, but it is certainly not a dual word. So it's Maim, Yod, final Maim, and I'm not sure why that printed up strange like that. So that kind of gets you started with nouns. I'm going to look through here and see if there's anything else that I need to say about nouns before you get started. Read the chapter carefully and be aware of the rules and what goes on with nouns. Now, let's see. There are a number of nouns. Remember, I've already told you that for every rule, there are always exceptions. There are a number of nouns that are irregular and unpredictable in their pluralization. And here is a list of some of those common examples that you will find. Son is Ben, sons is benim, man is ish, men is isham, woman is isha, women is nashim, city is ir, cities is irim, father is av, fathers is avath, I'm sorry I mispronounced that, house is beth, houses is bethim, daughter is bath, daughters is Bethith. Day is Yam, and plural it's Yamim. So those are some unusual pluralizations, and again, I'm pretty sure that those paradigms are in your book. So go through, study the nouns, be very familiar with them, because even though we'll leave this chapter, we will never leave nouns. And so you'll need to know your nouns. You'll need to know what their changes look like from singular to plural to dual, masculine and feminine, and know the rules that go with them and know the exceptions to those rules. At the end of each chapter, there's a summary that will help you out a lot. It's 4.9 on page 34. Hebrew nouns, as we've already said, have both gender and number. With regard to gender, a noun will be either masculine or feminine. With regard to number, it's going to be singular, plural, or dual. Masculine singular nouns are ending lists. Masculine plural nouns have the yod main ending. Masculine dual nouns have the pathic yod main ending. The most common feminine singular ending is comet's hey, but others are also noted from time to time, and you'll need to be aware of those differences. And there are exceptions to the standard rule and the patterns. You'll need to be familiar with that. Most nouns undergo a change in vowel pattern with the addition of plural endings. Be certain that you understand those changes, those patterns of changes. And the Hebrew dictionary is called a lexicon. And if you're going to look a word up in a lexicon, you're going to have to look it up according to its lexical form, and the lexical form is usually its singular form. So that's it for nouns. I'll be right back, and we're going to talk about articles and the definite article and the conjunctive vowel.